Hello everybody, hope you're doing alright. This is gonna be a demonstration. So we have this, we have that. As you can see, that camera. Let's remove the paddings here. 0, 0, 0, and 0. Actually, let's make this -1 for the top, so it's flush with the actual game view, the toolbar, just for aesthetic reasons. Alright, so we know we can scroll already. We know we can drag stuff around. Left click, right click. Which you're not aware of as of yet is mirroring of images. So basically, if we take a look at this text, well, you can add more mirrors, and you can pick either an actual image or a text component. Basically one of the blue or the yellowish ones, whatever, khaki yellow. In this case we have H1 mirrored. What does state mirroring actually do? Alright, well, when the active state changes, it'll actually mirror that actual state onto another image or another text, and you can pick and choose. You can add or remove as many as you want. In this case, it's changing the current active state for this text. So basically here, if we take a look at the current state, when the image actually changes its state, you know, with the mouse hover, it actually changes the text color as well. And if we look at the text states here, you'll see that the fill from and the fill to, they change colors. So when I click and release and then move away, it changes the state as well. So in this case, we don't have the focus state for the text. So if pressed or focused or whatever is not found, it'll default to the normal state. In this case, we do have hover defined. So what I'll probably wind up doing is showing this drop down, and the actual state that's not enabled, it'll most likely be disabled here. So focus, pressed, disabled, and anything else really. The only ones that you can choose will be, in this case, normal and hover, because that's one of the supported states that you enabled here. Alright, so that's great. So we can mirror. Well, you can mirror not only just the children. You can mirror to any other image or text component. So it doesn't have to be a child in this case. You know, it could be something in the menus or whatever. But you're most likely gonna do it. You know, adjacent controls components in this case. For image and text. Alright, so that's one bit. You probably already know that the mouse will work. Oops, hold on a second. I wasn't supposed to hit the F key while the scene view had focus. Let me set the focus to the game view and hover over the background. Yes, you're probably wondering, you know, why don't I just click on the background in the scene view? Yes, that works, but I just find it sometimes easier to just hit F in the game view, that is. Alright, let me collapse this, and look at the event handling. Oh, I don't want to look at that right away. Let's look at the mouse wheel for a second. And as you can tell, not only can you, well, it's divided up into groups right now. So now mouse, it has its own section. Keyboard, key up, key down, and this and that. And of course, well, I haven't actually finished implementing that, so that's going to change. So what was that, mouse wheel? Okay. So in this case, mouse wheel. I have and we have two sections for mouse wheels. One is for, well, there's a second condition to the mouse wheel. It basically checks to see if it's a mouse wheel, and to see if what the scroll wheel was it vertically decreasing or increasing in this case. And of course, I haven't actually tested the horizontal increase and decrease yet, because I don't have the hardware to do that. So I'll just stick to the vertical ones, because I only have a 3-button mouse. Yay for me. Alright, so basically I'm just getting the delta value from the scroll wheel, from actual the raycast component that's attached to the cam right here. Let me look at it, this one right here. So it has this mouse information, so when we move around, you'll see it changes. And of course, if you don't want to see it there, but instead if you want to look at it in the game view, you can do that. But sometimes it gets in the way, so that's why I have this option. Instead, I'll just show it here. So if you don't want to look at it, you just collapse or just switch over to whatever else you're working on. Alright. So it gets that information. It gets the percentage from the thumb drag, which is this control here on the side. It gets the offsets, Y offset in this case. It decrements it by whatever the delta value was. Usually it's like a -3 plus 3, whatever. And then basically it turns around and uses that information from 3, which basically decrements the Y offset percentage, and it sets it back. This would be a little easier if I just expanded it a bit. It's like, no duh. I usually don't, because I kind of went over this and I know what I'm doing. But for anybody else, yeah, you could change the width all you want. Oh biggie. And of course, set the offset percent, and of course the update. What does it update here? It updates the position offsets. This is for the dragging component. Actually, I'll just leave this be right now, because it's a lot easier if I just focus on that another time. And of course, there's an additional routine that's for the scroll bar or a slider bar or whatever you want to call it, the thumb drag, and all it does is just it regulates the background, the actual the gutter, the gutter. It just resizes it. That's all it really does, and it does that the same thing, but instead of decrementing, it increments it here. And basically everything else is the same. It's just this modify entry. So let me collapse this. Well, you can always hold down Alt and click on the very first event handler, input handler, and it'll expand to all of them. And if you click Alt and left click again, it'll collapse all of them. And let me show you really quick the gutter. The gutter is actually 2 images. Let me see if I can focus in. So there's a top portion and a bottom gutter. Top and bottom. Let me see if I can hide this control for a brief second. So you see to the regular user, they won't even notice that this is actually 2 images, or yeah, 2 separate images just made to look like one. Why did I want this? It's basically so the resize can so they can resize. Let me unhide this. Collapse this. I don't need that for a moment. So when I drag this, oh, actually let me set the focus to let's float it to the top. So when I drag this, it resizes and it fits it to the center of the thumb button. And you're thinking like that's awesome and everything, but is that really necessary? Like, yeah, it is, because if you click on the bottom portion of it or the top portion of it, it actually you want it to read in the different directions. So for the top, you basically want the thumb to go up. If it's the bottom, you want the thumb to actually go to the bottom. So yes, it is necessary to do it like that. And the same applies for this slider. Same principle is used. Oh, let me see if I can get the left and right. Let's do right this time. So when you drag, the gutter is actually resized as well. So yeah, I thought that was neat. Oh, and the last bit, actually there's two more little things. One is this toolbar, this like toggle menu thing. So when you can toggle it off and on. So when it's untoggled, it looks just like the rest of the toolbar might. But when you left click and release, you can see that the tint of it actually changes. And of course, we can let me give me just a second. There we go. When it's pressed, yeah, full area, you can see that wait, hold on, that's not it. I don't think I'm on the right one. Ah, yeah, there we go. This is kind of neat because you can actually modify how it actually tints everything. See if I can get a little closer here. Oh, let me change it from blend to clip. No, I don't want to do that. And as you can tell, it actually you can specify what do you want, how dark you want it. So let's say I want it like this much. No, I don't want grayscale. So like so. But I believe I would actually want it to be darker. No, not too dark. No. Yeah, something like that. I'm not sure if I want to turn on this. Actually, yes, I do. Alright, so that's normal, and then it's toggled. And while it's toggled, let me close this. And while it's toggled, you're actually seeing this sort of menu drop down, which has like a drop shadow. And you can actually left click to toggle these on and off. And this is it's not difficult to actually implement, to design at all. I don't know if you can tell, but there is a slight gray outline here, and I opted to leave it because I kind of like it, even though Windows 8 doesn't actually have any kind of outline there in the normal state. But I sort of like it, so I have it really light. For you, probably you won't even register when this gets compressed and uploaded to YouTube. But it's there. It's very faint. And of course this vertical line here. Now you're thinking that doesn't actually look like the Windows one like I'm looking at here. It looks a little smaller and more compact, and this is like really close to the line. It's actually overlapping it. Yeah, I know. I kind of like it. It's a little more space saving. So I said, oh, what the hell with it? The heck with it. And I left it. Alright, so it has its own drop shadow as I showed you before. And if I let me do this really quick. If I go to visibility and if I hide this control, I mean not the control, if I just hide the image that represents the background for the drop down, you see the actual drop shadow here. Now if I can just find it and select it, there it is. It's this bluish portion. Actually, I shouldn't say bluish. It's yeah. Never mind, because it's the margins actually offset it. So yeah, the padding is 0. So yeah, it's the blue outline. I know it's hard to get used to this padding versus margin, but trust me, it's really handy. Alright, so let me go back to the actual menu background and unhide it, and just toggle that off. And of course, you're probably looking at this visibility thing and you're thinking, what is this hidden by thing? Well, hidden by is actually it kind of trickles down. So you can actually have a parent hide all its children. So if I hide all the children, it basically hides everything under it. like this and this and this. Images and text are the only ones that actually are visually affected by it. So they will actually record any parents that are hiding its children. So other like containers that really don't display anything, they're not gonna show any information about that. So in this case, what happens is you can actually enable or disable hiding by a parent. So let's do that for the menu back, because that's most visible. So using this hidden by feature, what I'm able to accomplish is basically using adding that toggle on and off functionality that you saw. So in this case, the drop down information. Well, I think I'll go into that at a later time, because that involves an additional step. So, and I don't have enough time for that right now. So let me go back before actually I don't have to, because the script that I attached to this mouse up, it will actually handle that. So if I look at event handling, this component called show dropdown that I attached to this will call on mouse up, and that actually handles the actual visibility. On mouse enter, on mouse leave, on mouse down, on mouse up. Okay, this part right here. Oh, my bad. I'm looking at the freaking wrong. I don't know. I did double click on it, but it doesn't focus it right away. So I was a little confused there for a second. It's like, what is going on here? It's actually this. So it has an exclamation, and it keeps track of if it's hiding or not, if the hiding is enabled or not. So it just has this handy static function that's publicly exposed in the kissUtilities static class. So it just passes in, whether it should enable hiding or not. And so it tells it here, like, oh, should I be which parent is actually which component is this affecting? And of course the second is the actual source. So in this case, this particular image that we're currently I guess attached to is the one that's actually hiding or showing our hiding. So we want to pass in those two, and of course, oh, that's for children. I'm sorry, and of course ourselves. We want to hide ourselves, and these functions are separate because sometimes you actually don't want to hide yourself. You just want the children to get hidden, or I should say hiding to be enabled or disabled. So it's just these two calls here, and it'll handle everything. Oh, I changed that. So let me undo, close, and close. yeah, and that's easy enough. And the last thing is the tooltip. I know this is like not that fancy at all, but I thought it was neat. So I was like, oh, I can have the actual tooltip show itself as long as you don't leave the button area. And if you do leave and then enter again, then it has a countdown. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's click on this, set the focus on it, and F. So mouse enter. So we have a custom component called image tooltip, which is right here. And as soon as it enters, it calls that mouse enter that I just showed you here on mouse enter. And of course, as soon as it enters, it sets this variable, and then starts a countdown timer. And of course, this is the actual timeout. And it shows after, let's say, 3 seconds. So enter, 1, 2, 3, show. Yes, I know, I'm counting too fast. So 1, 2, show. And of course, this, you can change the way this actually behaves. You don't have to have the tooltip follow. So in this case, let me collapse this, and on mouse move actually, another tooltip, image tooltip components. There's another function called mouse move, and that basically just sets the X and the Y offset. So when the mouse moves while it's still over this particular image, it'll update the offsets on that tooltip. Yes, and the tooltip is semi-translucent. So you can probably tell, yeah, there. A little easier to tell if it's something like darker like this. I think that's all. Oh wait, no, there is one more thing. There is, if when you left or right click on the background, it basically animates. I shouldn't say really animates, kind of simulates the animation. So let me focus on that. So on mouse up. Oops, that's the wrong thing. So for mouse up, you see there's actually two conditions, not just one. Now it has to be, for this to fire, these event entries to actually run. It needs to be a mouse up, of course, a particular mouse button, and I guess a mouse location. So in this case, when you release the mouse, when it's a mouse up, when you release the button, it checks to see if the mouse is still over the button or if it's not over. And of course, instead of just picking between the two, you can actually combine them. So you can fire all of these when both of them are actually happen, or both the conditions are met. And same thing for the buttons. Not only does it have to be a left or a right or a middle, you can actually pick and choose or you can have all of them happen. Or so this way, if I click the middle mouse button, it still happens. But I don't like the middle mouse button because my mouse is sucky. So when I click with the middle mouse button now, which I'm doing repeatedly, nothing's happening. But if I click it with the left, it does run. if I click it with the right, it does animate. And of course you see the animation component here. And if I go to Window, Animation, and Curves, I think that'll show it a little better. So which is Shift key? No, it's Control key. No. Which key is it? Oh, this is X. Never mind. Oh, there it is. Oh, now it's too much. Oh, okay, there. So I'm holding down Shift while mouse wheeling. And if I use Control, then it goes across. Oh, it's too much. Alright, that's fine. I'm not going to be here all day. So, even though this is actually an actual animation, it only affects the X offset. So if I try, let's collapse this for a second, collapse, and look at the offsets, you'll see that the X is changing, but Y is not affected. So this now I can still scroll through this list while it's doing its animation thing here. But you're probably wondering, okay, the game is not running. So how the hell is it actually doing the animation? Well, that's what this component here is for. It's actually not actually playing the animation. It's kind of previewing the frames of the animation. So it just goes to a particular frame and it just previews it. But it previews it at a particular location, or I guess a time. In this case, we have 4 seconds here, and it shows the animation clip seconds. So when wait, one second. So when play animation. Okay. So it calls play preview on this here. Am I even looking at the right thing? Yeah, I am. I keep thinking. Oh, well, what I did was I just left click once and I hit backspace and it just deleted it. Now I'm gonna hit self. So basically, it just instead of me dragging it from the hierarchy into here itself, it just populates it automatically. Okay, so I want preview animation and then play preview. Yeah, that's it. I don't know what happened there. I think I haven't touched that in a long time, and I think when I compiled something, it changed. Or oh yeah, I changed the actual component name. It was called play animation, and I changed it to preview. So that's why it wasn't there. My bad. Okay, now it's preview animation. And anyways, you see that the actual the position of the seconds, it changes. It says animating and of course increment. I didn't have to have it here, but I chose to implement it because I was testing something. So yeah, that's pretty neat. And of course you can actually if you click this, it'll do an update, and it'll each frame of the update it'll check to see if we actually make any changes to this component here, in particular to this entry here. So if I move this, oops, I messed something up, didn't I? Oh well. That's okay. I don't know. I think I screwed a pooch. I shouldn't. I shouldn't have changed it. Dang it. Anyways, hold on just a second. Okay. I totally forgot that I have it index based. So it's actually looking for element 0. So this has to stay 0. What I really wanted to change was this field, and basically you can actually swipe this left and right. You can scrub it here up to 2. I think 2 is like the middle, because it's like 4 seconds and it goes back and forth. So up to 4. So even if the animation changes, animation, here we go. I believe it's X. Yeah, that's right. Even if the length of the animation changes, like if I move this to, let's say, I don't know, 5. No? You won't let me? Okay, 5, 0, there we go. Oh crap. I forgot to remove that. Now I screwed a pooch. I screwed up. You know what? Let's just do this. The hell with it. Oh, I didn't mess it up. Oh, I see. My bad. Oops, I did it again. Okay, so what is this? This is 5 now, right? 5, 0. Okay. So as you can tell, okay, it's not recording. Good. Now when I scrub it, it automatically sees that it is 5 seconds. It's no longer 4. And if I'm trying to go right, but it's not going past 5. I can only go left, and it's not going past 0. And of course, yeah, this gets clamped because it's actually it's checking it in the update. So basically, now that preview position is disabled, it's not gonna constantly check in the update loop every frame. So that you know, I don't have to worry about CPU usage now. So yeah, and it only does that. It samples that frame, or in this particular case, the animation frames. You know, only when you want it to. In this case, when it gets flagged as it's animating. So this basically this particular boolean. And of course, yes, you can loop it. So it gets to 5, and then it starts up all over again. So that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed that or found something fairly interesting. If not, I'm sorry. We'll try for next time. Until then, this is me signing off, saying hasta luego, hasta la mañana, and all the other cool stuff. Alright, check you laters. Bye bye.